This is We the Sales Engineers podcast, show 320.
Welcome to We the SEs podcast, the show for sales engineers by sales engineers with your host, Ramzi Majaba.
What's up, SE Nation? Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Ramzi Majaba. I'm a solutions specialist out of Ottawa, Canada, which is a hybrid role between sales and sales engineering, but more geared towards sales. And in case you didn't know, I run a program called the SE Hotline, and that includes coaching, includes office hours, includes a community, not a big community, but it's getting bigger. And part of that, we do office hours every other Friday, we also every other Tuesday, and we do training every other Friday. And this week's training was about promoting yourself to the CEO of your life and career. This is an important topic for me. Probably for a lot of people, mainly because I feel a lot of people just let their careers happen to them and they're not intentional about where they want their careers to go. They're not intentional about growth, stuff like that. So I brought it up and I talked about it in the training session. And the feedback that I received from my trainees and my clients basically is that it was very good. And like I received very good feedback about this training, and I feel like I need to share it with everybody else because it is important. I mean, if you want help on how to do it, then we can talk about it. That's where coaching comes in. But I just want you to think about it and start figuring out how you can do it. If you don't want to use the service, how you can do it on your own. So let's start off with defining a CEO. I mean, a lot of people know what CEO is, but just so we can have a common ground where we can move together forward. The CEO is the decision maker of a company. He's accountable, or she's accountable to the board or investors for the results. They basically make decisions to push the company forward. In the same way the CEO is responsible for their company, you are the only person responsible for your life. You can't depend on anybody else. I mean, you can have support, but you're the decision maker for your life. Nobody else can make decisions for you for your life. When you're growing up, there's your parents making decisions for you. But when you're the adult, you're the professional, you're working, the decisions are all yours. And you're accountable to yourself. You're your own board of directors. You can't fire yourself. You have to improve. And you're also accountable to your family. So I have a wife and 3 kids. I am accountable to them. I have parents. I'm accountable to them as well. Brother, accountable to him. Bottom line is you can't blame anybody for the results that you get. You're the only person to blame. Sure, things happen, but it's still something that you have to take ownership of. And the book Extreme Ownership comes to mind. And someone would say like, oh, COVID happened, we got fired, bad things happened, that was out of my control. Yes, there's a lot of things that are out of your control, but how you react to something is within your control. I think it's cliche at this point to say it, but how you act. Did you save money ahead of time for a rainy day? These are all decisions that you would have made throughout your life, so that in case of a emergency or disaster, you're able to do something about it. And like the same way the CEO has obligations to increase revenue every year, we should have that same obligation to ourselves. Most of us don't. Most of us like, hey, 1 year we get a raise, 1 year we get a 2% raise, 1 year we get a promotion. It's not something that we're actively working on, and I think we should be. And that's just one aspect. So we talked about money, right? Or revenue, like making money. But also when we talk about money, the decisions you have to make is about spending money and saving money. Are you going to spend money, for example, on learning a new skill? Or are you going to spend money on a car? These are all decisions you're going to have to make for your life. There are other aspects as well. Like time. How much am I working? Do I want to work more? Do I want to work less? Am I traveling too much? Am I spending time away from my family traveling? Am I not spending enough time traveling? These are things that you can make decisions about. Health-wise, am I stressed? Am I fat? Am I skinny? What is it that I need to improve? Is my blood glucose high? And I'm not a doctor, so I will not be touching that aspect. I'm not a health person. As you probably can see, I need help with that, and I'm working on it. So it's not something I can help with, but it's just some things to think about as you're becoming the CEO of your life. And then the roles, like, hey, which role is interesting for me? This also comes back to money and time, like, or it could be just, hey, I hear this sales engineering seems like an interesting role, has nothing to do with money or time or marketing. But then again, a lot of people make decisions like to go to university and study some degree that will never make them money, and now they have to go work something else because they can't make money. So a role in itself is not, for me, it's not a pillar of decision making. It's just a support factor in the decision making. So the thing about this, like we talked about time, health, and money, what it is that you need to improve, like we need to improve any of these, and which one we pick, which one we focus on, it's based on our goals. And once we identify the goals, then we can come up with the habits and the processes to give us the best chance to achieve it. Just because you have a goal doesn't mean you're going to achieve it. But if you don't have a goal, you're definitely not going to achieve it. And the common mistake that I see, it came up as part of the conversation where one of my clients said, well, no, I am focused on doing, in his case, it's a discovery. And that's a skill. And there's nothing wrong with improving the skill. It's just you have to think about, like, why? Why do you want to improve the skill? Another client of mine, so I'm going to give two examples around improving skills versus having like, actual goals and then picking skills based on that. Another client of mine, he came to me initially and his goal was to improve his demos. That was his goal. At least that's what he told me was his goal. And when I asked him, like, why? He looked at me like he's crazy. I'm an SE. I demo. I need to do better demos. Which is true. You need to do good demos. You need to do better demos. But why is that the skill that you chose to improve? And the problem was he had not clearly identified his goal. His goal wasn't necessarily to improve his demos. His goal was to make more money to feed his family, i.e. close more deals and earn commission. Doing a better demo could help, but was that really the problem? And as we dug in deeper, we found that your problem is not demos, your problem is discovery. Once you do a better discovery, the demo will build itself. So he had the wrong goal. He had a skill that he needed to improve versus a goal. Like, I want to improve my salary. I want to make more money. Another example is it's a personal one where I said, I want to learn Python. It's a fun thing to do and it might help me get a better job somewhere, sometime. The problem is my goal isn't necessarily to get a better job somewhere, sometime. I'm very good at my job today. If an opportunity comes up, I'll look at it. But my goal is to make We the Sales Engineers a sustainable business, something that I can live off of. So maybe learning Python, although it sounds like fun, is not the best use of my time. Maybe I should be learning marketing. Right. So the goal dictates what skills you need to improve, what habits you need to implement, what processes you need to build. And part of the conversation that we had is one of my clients said, well, like, money is not the end all be all. Like, at some point I stopped caring about money. And a lot of people say that, like, hey, money doesn't buy you happiness, right? We've all heard that. And I think it's true. And money is not relevant if you have it. And if you're a millionaire, for example. So unless you're a millionaire, money is relevant and we should look at improving it. And think about this: if if a board of directors comes to a CEO and say we need to improve our revenue, and he says, well, the money is not the end all be all, they're gonna fire that CEO pretty quick. So why? But from a personal level, like I'm saying that because we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know when COVID's going to hit, right? And people are gonna let go, and we need savings in the bank. A friend of mine, nothing like COVID didn't happen to him, or COVID happened to everybody, but he didn't get affected by it. But he just found a leak in his basement. Spring started, rain started coming, pouring down in Canada, and his basement flooded. They found 5 cracks in his basement, his finished basement, so he had to open one up walls to find that out. And then he got a quote to fix those 5 cracks for $50,000. Canadian dollars, so it's like monopoly money, but still dollars that we get paid at. And so, did money matter to him at that point? If money doesn't matter, like 5 minutes before that, it surely mattered after. The good news is he didn't panic. A lot of, I guess, contractors take advantage of people panicking and in an emergency where they need to get something quick and they think they're not going to ask for other quotes. He was able to look around and he got a quote for a reasonable $14,000, but that's still $14,000, right? If we talk about anchoring in negotiation, if someone says 50 and then they say 14, 14 is a good deal, but still a big chunk of money. So if you don't have that in the bank, are you going to use credit cards? Are you going to pay interest? Again, I'm not a financial person. If you have questions about money, I might be able to answer, but I'm not going to dig in too deep into that. Bottom line is money is important. If you're in the US and someone needs to go to the hospital and the healthcare, the insurance doesn't cover a lot of it, you're going to need money. If you're in Canada and you have to wait a year or two to get a procedure and you might just want to travel to the US to get it done, you need money. We just talked about cracking the foundation, or 5. So if an organization is expecting 10% growth for their revenue each year, and they're increasing my quota by 10% each year, why shouldn't I expect something similar for myself? Why can't I expect that I also grow by 10%, 5%, 3%, whatever the number is? Just pick it. And again, money I think is important, and everyone should look to improve their financial situation every year, but it's not the only thing. And we also have to decide by how much we want to improve whatever it is that we choose, whether it's health, which is very important, again, everybody should work on, whether it's money, whether it's more time spent with the family. We have to identify what that is, what are the habits that go around building that, like, or helping us achieve that goal, and also by how much. I'm making $50,000 a year. Next year, I want to make $55,000. That's 10% growth. We have to define what's that number. Otherwise, we'll just work for something. And it's not necessarily like, all right, what if I say my goal is 55,000 and I only hit 52,000? That's not 10% growth. That's a lot less. But now, for next year, like, hey, maybe, what did I do wrong? I wanted to hit 10% growth. I didn't hit it. Is it realistic to say I want to hit 10% growth? If yes, what should I have changed to get there? If no, what is that? What is a reasonable number? And how can I improve that? Whatever, what was it, 2% or something like that? So it's used for tracking. Whatever gets tracked, whatever gets measured, whatever is measured improves. Something like that. That's a quote that someone said that I just butchered. So I apologize for that. Now, my examples for today, like we talked about, there's like health, there's time, and there's money. My focus is money and time, mainly because that's what I work on. I don't work in health. I'm 300 pounds, working to lose weight, so I am not the... If I ever lose weight, I'll let you know how I did it, but I'm not the expert there. Now, how do you make more money? There are 4 potential ways to make more money as I see it. If you see another one, let me know. I'm happy to learn from you as much as I can teach you. That sentence doesn't make sense. Scratch that. Anyways, there are 4 ways that I see. You can ask for a promotion. You can move roles within the company. You can move companies. Or you can start a side hustle. Now, if you are worried about time and say like, hey, I don't have time, I don't want to work more time, then maybe starting a side hustle doesn't work. So whatever, like if you say I want to make more money and work less hours, that might not be possible. Or it might be just through a promotion. You're going to have to make that choice. But if you're just going to say like, hey, I'm willing to put in the whatever, I'm 20 years old, I want to make more money, I'm not married, I don't have kids. All right, I'm going to work 40 hours at my work, and then I'm going to work another 30 hours a week on my side hustle. That's doable. You might have to look out for burnout, but I don't see anything wrong with trying it at least for a little bit. But I'm going to focus today on like asking for a promotion. If you want to move role, like we can talk about. If you want me to talk about moving roles within a company, like what roles could you possibly go to? Would that be a promotion or a demotion from a salary perspective? Or moving companies or starting a side hustle, which I've already talked about. If you want me to talk about any of those, let me know. Reach out to me. I'm happy to talk about it. But today I'm going to focus on getting a promotion. Because from what I've seen, most people don't know how to ask for a promotion. People who've been doing it for a while still don't know how to ask for a promotion. And some even think that they should just get a promotion. Right? So here's a quick tip. If you never ask for a promotion, you're most likely never going to get it. Many companies, like big companies, growing companies, they throw money at their people because they're doing well and they want to keep their people. But most stable companies will not give you a raise or a promotion unless you specifically ask for it. So when is a good time to ask for a promotion? I would say day one. And some people would argue with me. Why do I say day one? You don't necessarily have to go say, hey, I just started, give me a promotion. But you can ask, like, hey, I'm just starting off as a SE, not a senior, not a junior, just as an SE. Mr. and Mrs. Manager, you just hired me as this SE. What is the expectation for my role as an SE, and how does it differ from someone like that's a senior SE? So now you're going to get the checklist for what an SE should do, and you're going to get a checklist of what a senior SE should do. And you didn't ask for money or anything. You just asked for, like, hey, I plan to become a senior SE in 3 years. What is it that I need to do? Or 2 years. What is it that I need to do? And most people don't do that. Most people, what they do is they say, like, hey, I've been doing this job for a year and a half or 2 years. I think I've earned my spot as a senior SE. Mr. and Mrs. Manager, I want my promotion. And then they're shocked when the manager says, well, you didn't earn it. Or, well, you're still not doing what a senior SE would do. Because generally speaking, you have to do what a senior SE does to get that promotion. You don't get a promotion for the next job before you start doing the next job. You can move roles. Like if you want to go from SE to marketing, you're going to have to apply to marketing and become a marketer to do the job of a marketer. But if you're a junior marketer and you want to become a senior marketer, you're going to have to be doing the senior marketer's job for 6 months or a year to be able to get that promotion. You basically have to prove yourself before you get that promotion. So, and also like there's a right way of asking for a raise and there's a wrong way. You don't go and tell someone, I want a raise. But you can become a teammate with your manager. And you can work in tandem with your managers. Like, hey, help me. I want you on my team. I need you to help me get my raise or promotion. I don't want to fight you for my promotion. I want us to fight whoever's on top, who's deciding whether I should get a promotion or not. And you do that by saying like, hey, what is it that a senior SE does? And you can look, and that's day one, you can ask that question. And then in a year, you can look at your manager and say like, hey, manager, I've been doing what a senior SE does for the last 6 months. Can we work on getting me a promotion together? Right? You're not demanding, you're not getting into a fight. You're getting the manager on your side. And it bothers me to no end when I hear an SE complain about their manager not giving them a promotion. It's not the manager who gives the promotion. It's the higher ups. And the manager doesn't want to lose you. The manager 100% doesn't want to go find someone else to do the job unless you're really bad at your job. And if you're really bad at your job, you didn't deserve the promotion to begin with. So that's a different topic. So get the job description for the senior role or whatever, like a principal SE or a staff SE. Get that description and start checking off the boxes of where it is that you want to get to. And when you ask for that, now you know what skills you need to work on. Right? Whether it's mentoring, whether it's learning to do a better discovery, whether it's hitting quota, closing more deals. Now you have at least a guide of what it is that you need to work on to achieve your goals. And one mistake I see is I want a raise, I want a promotion, I want a promotion now. Except most companies do a promotion like once a year, or at least many companies. The companies I've worked for, one company does it in March, one company does it in December, and one company does it when you get a job offer from somewhere else. That's a different story. So let's say that company that does it in December. If I come to them in January, right after they give the promotions, and say, hey, I want a promotion, that's at least a year of me waiting to get the next promotion. I personally don't like to wait that long. I've been working on a promotion every day since I got my last promotion or my last raise. I've been working actively on it. Okay, all right, you just gave me a raise. What do I need to do to get even more raises? Well, they give you a list, but figure out when they give promotions within your company. If it's ad hoc, then don't worry about it. But if it's once a year, then you know when you start working on it. Like you start working on it today, but you're not going to ask for a raise every single time you meet your manager, especially if you meet every week. If you meet once a month, then you might just throw in something, mention something every once in a while. But I like to work on it starting 6 months ahead of time, personally. I just remind my manager, like, hey, remember when we talked about X? Yeah, can we talk about that more? I want to make sure that the next time there's a promotion, I actually get it. And now you team up and you work on it. Or you could be one of those millionaires who doesn't care about money, and then you want to have more time, and so you never ask for a promotion, which is fine also. In terms of moving roles within a company, there are many roles. Again, I'm not going to dig in too deep today, but just because you move the role within a company doesn't mean it's an automatic raise. Many companies have the policies like we don't give raises for people who move laterally or who people move within the company, because then we're encouraging everybody within the company to keep on just switching roles. So a lot of people just leave the company and come back. They go from company A to company B and back to company A, and now they have 2 promotions in half a year, whatever it is. If you want me to talk deeper into that, like what are the roles that SEs can move into, let me know. I'm happy to do that. If you want to talk about how you can move companies, let me do that. We can talk about that. But in terms of moving companies, you can move to a company that does the exact same thing. Like if you're working at Juniper and you say, all right, I'm going to move to Arista. It's very similar. Or if you're working at HP and you want to move to Dell, very similar. But what if you decide, you know what, I want to change technologies? So that kind of specifies your goals. Like, hey, I want to work for a company that works on AI, which is the big thing right now. So now you have to study AI, study Python, study other stuff. And that sets up your goal. And whether it is because you enjoy the challenge of learning a new technology, because again, money, I think, is very important, but it's not the only thing that's important. Health is important, and health includes sanity, mental stress. If you're working in an industry that you just hate, then maybe you should change that industry. And so you have to figure out which industry you want to go to and start setting up goals. Like, this is not something you work with your manager on because you want to leave the company. But you can reach out to people in AI or watch YouTube videos and see, like, oh, you have to learn Python, you have to learn this, you have to learn these things, and you can start moving. But in terms of just, you have to take control of your life, basically. That's why I say, like, you're the CEO of your life. You're the CEO, you're the CFO, you're basically you're a startup. You're your own startup, and you're trying to figure out how to make more money, how to save more money. And that could be one thing, right? It could be like, hey, I don't want to make more money necessarily because realistically, I'm not going to get a raise every year. How can I save more money? How can I spend less money? These are questions you should ask yourself as well. That's all I wanted to share for today. I hope this is useful to you. If you want me to talk more about this, let me know. Also, if you're enjoying my solo shows more than like interviews, let me know. Or equally, if you want me to do them equally, I'm here to serve you more than anything else. If you have topics you want to discuss, let me know. That's it for me. With that, I'm signing off.